So today I actually wanted to walk you through why you should be sending emails and why it's a crucial channel to your e-commerce business. And at the very end, I'm going to go through and give away my full Klaviyo setup checklist. This is the SOP we give to everybody internally in our company. And so you can take this and build your own flows that earn you a ton of money. So with that, let's jump into the Loom board. And so just as a high level, if you're currently running between 5 to 20,000, you already have a solid proof of concept. You have customers, you have products that's in stock, and you shouldn't be relying solely on organic or on ad spend to drive every single sale, right? That's just not feasible, and you're leaving massive leverage on the table. And so really, your business should be doing 30% to 40% of its total revenue in email. And if you're not, then there's something really wrong. The core problem with relying only on new traffic is that one, platforms are getting more expensive, acquisition costs are soaring, and that's with a paid ads approach. But with organic at the same time, algorithms change all the time. Your reach can fluctuate based on if you're posting top of funnel content or middle of funnel content, or just because the algorithm chose to that day, right? You never really own your social media, you just rent it from the platform. One shadow ban, one blacklist, and suddenly your reach can go from 10 to 1 or even 0.1. And I've seen this before. I just want to say really quick, this doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing organic. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be doing paid ads. In fact, because we run this for our clients too. But if acquisition is a growth engine, retention is your profit engine. The goal is to own distribution via email or SMS to your customers so you can drive revenue on demand when you need to without paying for more clicks, without paying for more media. You can't go viral at a drop of a hat and meet your target goals, but you can send a highly detailed email campaign that gets you really, really close. It is 5 times to 7 times cheaper to retain a customer than to go out and get a new one. And that's why we're talking about all of this. And so email and SMS, they give you a direct line to your customers. You can set up flows that work 24/7. So while you're working or building content or sleeping or, living your life, they work for you and continue to get you new customers or old customers to buy again. You can segment customers based on what they bought, how often they bought, how much they spent, when they last visited, and sort of build out really detailed flows, which I'll talk about later, that segment your customers and basically tap them when they're most likely to buy. I just really wanted to hammer this home, right? Like if you're growing, awesome. Keep posting on social, keep running your ads, but eventually you want to transition to actually owning your audience. And so the biggest e-com, whether fashion, supplements, home goods, they all stopped renting their audience and have their own marketing in-house that promotes there. And so they generate millions per month, not because they have a ton of traffic or the biggest ad budget, but because they have a relationship with their customers' inbox. I just wanted to give a few examples of companies that died from this rented traffic versus people that succeeded. Casper, this is a mattress company. They went from 1.1 billion valuation to later going private for 300 million. So their valuation went to 1/3 its value. They were running so many Google search ads and social media ads, right, to acquire every customer. I think for every dollar they earned from customer, they probably put 80 cents into finding a new customer, which is not sustainable. So they grew really fast as a startup, but because they had low LTV, they couldn't get their customers to rebuy because they had bad retention. Their valuation plummeted after they kept, riding that fundraising loop. Instant Pot, 100 million viral sensation because their products were so good, they couldn't get people to buy new ones. And then eventually the business collapsed the moment the algorithms cool. Fidget spinners. This was this viral thing. Drop shippers were getting in on it, but no one built a brand around it. After the flux, they were left with millions of just unsold inventory. No one had ways to retain customer information. They were just pumping and dumping. Instead of being able to pivot to a toy company, no one really owned customers. And so the moment this all went away, all the viral stopped, fidget spinners disappeared. A few examples of really big companies running emails. Ridge Wallet. They did 30 to 40 million from email alone. Gymshark does 180 million a year just from email and SMS, right? And they do something really cool. They segment by who you clicked in from. So the athlete you saw that would promote it, a creator, you click their profile, it takes you to Gymshark, you sign up. They track that. They send you marketing that shows this creator that you followed into your email inbox, which I think is brilliant. Lululemon's 140 million from email SMS alone. Social media can get banned. Your ad spend or your cost of acquisition can increase like crazy. Email will never be banned. And if you don't have this, you technically own no customer data. What this means for you is like you don't need millions of Instagram followers. What you really need is a highly engaged list of 2 to 10,000 people who open your emails regularly. And if you have a great conversion rate, like a small dedicated list will do far more than a massive social following on Instagram. So I just wanted to show you an example. This is an account owned by my friend. He runs a gym clothing brand, right? And so he's super small. They did 2,500 over the last month and a half. 300 of those was from Klaviyo, right? And these are just email automations and flows. This is 13% of his revenue. He wouldn't have gotten if he didn't have these, if he didn't have emails. And for a small brand, that really matters. As a note, this can be way higher. This should be like 30, 40%. And we're just kind of building casually here. I'm just kind of giving him advice and helping him do this as opposed to like running it as a client thing. But just to show you, like, don't sleep on email, because this is make or break. Even if you're really small, you should be thinking about this. You should be implementing this because it's really useful. And so I would say modern software, one, it has a mechanism to capture customer information based on their interests, interaction, engagement. 2, you have cost-effective ways to send emails with legal permissions, all handled by the platform. We can send 1,000 emails for like $1. And 3rd, we have automations that can detect and send marketing based on a customer's mood, their state, or what pages or products they engaged with. Modern softwares like Klaviyo, Omnisend, they can do all this and more when you add in what I call revenue architecture, which means really, really personalizing the flows based on what people click on in the email. We at Hoshino Media, we use Klaviyo. It has really great Shopify integration. Time to actually get into building Klaviyo. And I just want to walk you through now our exact SOP. This is our checklist. I will make this available. You can get it in the link down below. I'm probably not going to edit this a ton just because this is our setup, but I'm going to walk you through exactly what we do. First thing we want to do, if you're in Klaviyo, this is just a dev account. This is not attached to a real store. Just want to show you how to build. The first thing you'll want to do is go to integrations, and I have Shopify already installed. You can just search on Explore Apps. This will open the App Store and just search Shopify. And then get this, you install it. It's super easy. And then it goes here and it will ask to connect to your Shopify. I have it open here already, but just to show you, like, it'll ask for a connection request in your apps. So apps, Klaviyo, and then it'll ask you to just add it to the page and click save. Super easy. I trust that you guys can handle this. If you can't, let me know. And so it'll ask you connection details, like what's your store URL, embedded, how much do I want to track everything. Click this, click track behavioral events. We want all of this. And then sync data from Shopify. You should have a main email list and just select that and click update settings. So the next thing you'll want to do is actually go into your DNS. So whether this is namecheap.com or godaddy.com, and then you just want to set up a DNS record for your new email. And just what that means, right, is like the email that we're sending from. And so you should want to send from a default email address. If you don't have this, like, it's just going to use your Gmail account or something, or a default Klaviyo email, and that just looks really ugly. So you want a dedicated sending domain. On top of that, if you use your main email for sending most of your emails, the problem is if you get flagged as spam too many times, when you actually want to send emails, things will start to break. And so it's always good to have like your own unique domain and a default email address in order to send a bunch of emails. Some other notes, you can use Google Mail or Gravatar to set like a profile photo. That's really important. So when people see you, they're like, oh, I want to click this. I recognize this brand. I recognize our logo. Super important. Make sure to do this. And so just to show you like how to get this, account settings, you'll go to organization settings, accounts, default sending address. Just make sure that this is the email you want to send from. And you can log into your DNS and connect it in Klaviyo settings. Super easy. So the next thing I want to tell you is just a special note, right? So here we want to turn off single opt-in. And so by default, Klaviyo has a double opt-in. So you have to say like, hey, so a user opt-in, meaning like they sign up on your website. Then what Klaviyo automatically will do is it'll send them an email saying like, hey, are you sure you subscribe to this? And turn this off, because if you don't have it off, your email opt-in rates will just plummet, right? And so to find this, you can just search opt-in, default opt-in settings. And so we want to set this to make sure it is single opt-in. If you have a brand that has multiple types of segments for customers. For example, if you have men's and women's product, this is part of the revenue architecture where we start to customize things. And so you'll want to go to audiences, profiles, and then just have a, add a custom property. And so we can say like gender, right? And then set this as male or female, or you can do age or dog owner or cat owner or whatever you want, right? And this just allows us to get a little bit more granular and start to track this when we start to send emails to people. So if gender exists, make sure you do this. And then I want you to create coupons. Not everyone does this. If you're in luxury, I would recommend skipping coupons, but for most e-commerce, this is really essential. You can go here to content and coupons, create Shopify coupon. This will link directly to your Shopify. It's great. And so you can just name it, like I'll just say test coupon, prefix test coupon. Prefix means like it'll just show up as having this for every coupon that's used in the future. And so if I wanted to say like abandoned cart, I might do ABC, right? And then so that just shows up. And then you can say percentage or a fixed dollar amount or free shipping. You can set for how long you want it to go. And then I'll just do 10% off and then create coupon and then done. So this is super great. We have here a list of all the coupons we create for our clients. You can just copy this, all good. Some of the logic here is, so abandoned checkout has only one, abandoned browse has two. We send a flow to customers where we say like, hey, if you're looking at a product and we have your email and you leave, we send you an email saying like, hey, we saw that you're looking at this because we think you could be interested. We'll send you a coupon for 10% off. It's only good for 24 hours, this 1 day expiration right here. And if that expires and they don't use their coupon, we remarket to them and say like, hey, we know you missed the 24-hour deadline, but you're a bro, you're a homie. Like, we love you so much. So we're just going to extend that by 3 days or 2 days or whatever, just for you. And so this really helps convert more people. And so this is just kind of our logic for this. So cool. Let's actually get to building some flows, because I think that's really important. And so you want to build 6 flows, 7 assets in total. We'll start with your sign up form. And so I already have one here. This is 0% because again, this is just a test. But just to show you how it will go, you'll click create a form. You can choose from a bunch. They have a bunch of examples that you can use. Let's just use this pop-up, right? And so example build, and we'll build it. This email subscriber list is where they get dumped into. And so I will say our dev store email list creates. So how we think about this is, so this shows up as a pop-up. We can have it as a flyout where it comes in, as a embedded. So this is just on a web page, full page, or a banner. I personally like full page. I think it's the best. And it makes people, it forces them to actually do something with it. One sneaky little thing you can do is you can make the X totally blank. We're just going to align it to this side. And so to have a button to have people to close it, we will put this down here and set this as the action is closed form, button text, button style, and we'll just say for this, like, we will say, no thanks, I want to pay full. No thanks, I hate gifts, or I want to pay full price, or whatever, right? One super cool thing, one tricky thing you can do is actually clone this so that your first email opt-in, right, doesn't have this email. So like I could clone this, step 2, and so this one doesn't have, we'll just remove this, email opt-in, and so people click get gift, it takes them here, and then they have to put in their email to get the gift, and then you can set more settings if you want, right? If you want to collect people's phone number, you have to do a mobile opt-in. And then we'll say text messaging, go. And I do not want this. I don't want a traditional double opt-in. We have to go into the settings to change this. And so one really important thing for this as you're building the text message is you need to have a opt-in checkbox. This is your double opt-in, right? If you don't have this, it will not work. And I'll send them a text saying like, hey, we saw you like this. Can we send you text messages? And people have to respond yes. And so this is just the best way to do it. And so please have this. It'll save you so much trouble. It'll make your life so much easier. And then once you're done, you can just click publish now. Other things that we can do is targeting. And so we can say, hey, I don't want you to show this to existing Klaviyo profiles. I can show it on certain pages or after certain behavior has been done. And so maybe I just want to show it to people based on if they have 10 items in cart, right? Or 2 items in cart. And we can set based on rules. So I can say like, hey, after a time delay of 20 seconds to make sure people are here for a while, make sure they see 2 pages. And if they're still here, like, hey, let's show it to them. Then you can set the frequency to say, well, if they close the form, I don't want to show the form to them again for 5, 10, 15, whatever days. And so this is looking good. You can edit the style if you want, but I think we're looking good. And so we'll publish one more time. So let's go to flows. Now this is the really, really important part. You want 6 total. Just to walk you through them. These are a welcome flow. So like, hey, we got your email. Thanks so much. Here's your gift. We want an abandoned browse, cart, and checkout. The difference between this, abandoned browse is when someone looks at a product, doesn't do anything, doesn't add it to cart, and they leave. Abandoned cart is when they add it to cart, they don't start their checkout, and then they leave. An abandoned checkout is when they add it to their cart, they look at a product, they add it to their cart and start the checkout, but don't finish. And so you can see the level of warmth that a customer has. Someone who abandoned checkout is much more likely to buy than someone who just looked at a product and left. And so we want to think about it that way. Typically, what we do is we give discounts for abandoned browse and abandoned cart. We rarely give incentives or discounts for abandoned checkout because they just need one little push to get them over the hump. Have these, and then for our post-purchase flows, we'll have a thank you flow. So once you buy, thank you, and if you want to come back, here's a better discount. And finally, a customer win back. This is done when someone is, never engaged email or SMS, or they're just unengaged for a while. And we just want to see like, hey, are they going to come back? And so you offer them a discount or something in order for them to come back and buy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it captures a lot of traffic that would otherwise just disappear and ghost. I have these all written out and built out, but you can very easily create your own flow. There are a lot of essentials here. They're not super pretty, but you can make them work. And so maybe I just want to browse abandon. I can start here, wait 2 hours, and let's just use this template as an example. So one thing to note, this only has one email chain. Typically for us, we send 3 to 4 emails in a chain. And so I will say, hey, we actually want some logic here as a conditional split. If they open our email, let's say that, if they have opened our email at least once since starting this flow, then hey, they're engaged and we want to send them more marketing. And so I can say, I'll send them an email and give them a discount, right? If no, we can have a whole nother flow. And this is how you can get really granular and how you can also use revenue architecture. Maybe it's, if they've opened an email and we've tagged them as female, we want to send them this custom email. So let's just show how to create one really quick. I can select a template or I can build my own. And so we have a bunch of like abandoned browses and abandoned carts that we have. And so just as a really, really basic one, this isn't a pretty one at all. These aren't pretty at all. They're just very tactical. Most of the emails we run for higher end clients, right? We design and we do it in Figma. But if you just wanted to do something really, really simple, cool. So like it, we had a hunch. And so this is a coupon. You can add it in from, so this is just our very, very basic email, just a test. Again, we design most of the real stuff. But if I wanted to have a coupon right away, I can click this button, coupon, and plug in one of the ones that we made earlier. And so for us, let's do that. Did we ever save that test one? We did not. So we'll just say, hey, let's use restock. Great. And so we can then put in a item. So usually if you use a template, they'll just show you right away, like event.name, meaning this is the product they viewed, a button to keep browsing that directs them back to the page. And then just these are collection products that we recommend for you. This is the products item. You just drop it in and say like, hey, let's do my best sellers. And then it'll just populate it in. I'm not going to save this. We're just going to close it. And so I want you to build 6 different flows. Again, the welcome, the abandons, the thank you, and finally the win back. And so I recommend, again, having multiple chains of emails. We can have more. And so for this, we'll just say like time delay, we'll wait 3 days. If they haven't replied or if they haven't bought, then we will again send them another email. And so this is a way you can get Klaviyo online really quickly. You can do this in a day. Will it be the best? Probably not. And if you need help, like, hey, feel free to book a call with me or my team down below. But this will help you so much, whether you are a giant brand or just getting started out. I want you to stop missing sales because you're literally missing sales as we speak. I want you to be running these in the background. So even while you sleep, you can be getting 30 to 40% of your revenue just from emails. It helps you get more customers and make every customer worth more to you, right? So this is so important. Go out and implement this. Again, if you need help, book a call with me and my team below. We'd love to do this for brands, but if not, go out there and build a brand worth owning. I'll see you later. Peace.